Developmental psychology has been studying toddlers for over 100 years. And in that time, researchers have answered some of the most confusing questions parents face. Why toddlers say no to everything? Why they fall apart over nothing? Why they seem to forget rules they knew yesterday? And why they are simultaneously the most loving and most infuriating people you will ever meet. Today, we go through the answers.
Welcome to Raised by Science. Today, we're using the lens of developmental psychology to explain 6 toddler behaviors that confuse, exhaust, and occasionally delight parents, and show exactly what's happening neurologically and developmentally behind each one. By the end of this video, you'll understand your toddler better than most parenting books will ever help you to.
Developmental psychology identifies this phase, which typically intensifies around 18 months to 3 years, as individuation. Your toddler has recently made one of the most significant cognitive discoveries of their life. They are a separate person from you, with their own preferences and will. The no is not defiance for its own sake. It is your toddler testing the reality and safety of their own separateness. If I say no, does the world still hold together? Am I allowed to be different from you? The appropriate response, firm on the boundary, curious about the feeling, honors the developmental work the no is doing. Parents often interpret this as manipulation or selective memory. Developmental psychology explains it differently. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for holding rules, delaying gratification, and applying learned behavior to new situations, is barely functional in a 2 or 3-year-old. What looks like forgetting is actually the brain's inability to consistently apply a stored rule under emotional pressure. The rule is there, but when the toddler is excited, tired, frustrated, or overstimulated, the prefrontal cortex loses the competition with the limbic system, and the rule disappears. This will improve gradually as the prefrontal cortex develops, a process that isn't complete until the mid-20s. A broken cracker, the wrong cup, a sock that feels wrong. To an adult, these are non-events. To a toddler, they can feel genuinely catastrophic, and developmental psychology explains why. Toddlers experience emotions with the same intensity as adults, but without any of the cognitive tools to contextualize, minimize, or manage them. They have no internal voice saying, "This isn't actually that bad." What they have is a fully functioning emotional system and an almost entirely non-functional regulation system. The cracker isn't the problem. The cracker is the last straw on a nervous system that was already at capacity.
Developmental psychology describes limit testing not as manipulation, but as scientific inquiry. Toddlers are building a model of how the world works. What's consistent? What's predictable? What happens when they push a boundary? Repeated limit testing is actually the brain seeking data. What this means practically: consistency is not about strictness. It's about giving the toddler's brain the predictable data it needs to build a reliable model of cause and effect. When limits are inconsistent, sometimes enforced, sometimes not, the testing increases because the model is incomplete. The research shows that warm, consistent responses to limit testing reduce the testing over time far more effectively than punishment.
Mary Ainsworth's research on secure attachment introduced the concept of the secure base. The idea that a securely attached child uses the caregiver as a home base from which to explore the world, returning regularly for reassurance before venturing out again. This is why your toddler runs confidently to the other side of the playground and then suddenly needs to be on your lap. Both impulses, the independent exploration and the return, are part of the same healthy attachment system, working exactly as it should. The clinginess is not regression, it is the refueling that makes the independent possible.
Developmental psychology doesn't make toddlers easier to parent, but it makes them infinitely more understandable. And understanding, knowing that the no is development, the meltdown is neurology, and the clinginess is attachment, changes the emotional experience of those moments completely. If you want to go even deeper into what's happening inside your toddler's mind, beyond just behavior, into how they actually think, watch Toddler Psychology, what your 2-year-old is actually thinking next, right here. Subscribe to Raised by Science for more developmental psychology explained simply every week. See you in the next one.